What's up, everybody? Warlock here, and we're back with another video, another settings video. Okay, a lot of people have been asking me what are my settings and my kind of go-to stuff for Apex Legends. I did one on Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout, so I figured I would also make one per request at Apex Legends or for Apex Legends. So let's just dive right into it. Alright guys, so Apex Legends, new Battle Royale. It's only been out for a short amount of time, and it has been sweeping the nation and the world like crazy. 50 million players already on it within the first month. So I got to show you my settings. I play Gibraltar main, and I have over 2,700 kills, 2,300 headshots, and just over 500,000 points of damage. Now I don't get to play enough as I would like, but the stats are pretty good for how I play the character. But let's hop right into the settings, guys. So I do play on PS4. We're not going to go over PC settings, but I do also play on PC with my controller, but we're going to be talking about PS4 specifically. So under gameplay, I keep the interact prompt style default. This is really, it's kind of personal preference. If you want a combat to kind of like shrink everything on the screen and not have it show up as much, then that's fine. I'm a streamer, so I like to entertain my viewers with that, so they can see kind of what I'm picking up and all this stuff. Button hints, this is really easy. You keep that on for sure. Crosshair feedback with X shield icon on is really good. If you want to not have it display, then that's fine too, or you can do the crosshair where it's just the X. I prefer everything on. It just makes it easier for when I'm trying to shoot somebody, but totally up to you. Damage numbers. Recently I changed to floating. I've never had it off. Stacking is really easy. That just means it stacks on one top of the other, which is really kind of nice. The floating I think is cool because it kind of floats straight up, and you kind of see how each one just kind of stacks. So if you hit somebody, 5 times in a row for 14 points of damage apiece, you can see that you actually did those numbers instead of just stacking and replacing, so you can't really tell. But I prefer the floating, and then you can do both. I haven't done both yet. I may try it, but I prefer floating. I kind of go back and forth with this one. This is just more of a visual for you guys. If you don't like it, turn it off. If it distracts you, turn it off. I like to see how much damage I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I like to. It also helps when those damage indicators change from their shield to white, which is their normal health, and then into red. So it's definitely pretty good. The ping opacity just shows you how bright it is. I mean, I use default. Faded, it makes it pretty transparent, but for the most part, if you're playing with randoms and not playing with your friends, just leave this at default. The obituaries, absolutely have this on. Shows all the KDs, shows all the deaths, everything. Leave that on for sure, guys. And it's a good way to keep track of, like, when you're running up on a team, top right hand corner, you can see kind of how, hey, if you're rolling up on 2 teams fighting, oh, 1's down, 2 downs, okay, team wipe. You want to leave that on. This incoming damage feedback, mine's 3D, although some people find it a little easier with 2D as far as where they're getting shot from. The default is 3D. Now basically what this means is just when you're like, if you're facing a certain direction, you get shot from either side or your back, it's going to pop up with a kind of a half shield and kind of just give you a hint of where you're getting shot from. Some people get it confused and they're being shot from one direction, but it seems like they're getting shot from the opposite. So that's where the 2D comes in. I think some players prefer 2D. I keep it on 3D. It's just easier. So you can mess around with that to your personal settings. I never do show both. I tried it once. It just gets way too confusing about where you're getting shot from. Streamer mode, if you are a streamer, turn this on. It gets rid of the names. It keeps them like basically random names, so that way you don't see who they actually are. Same thing for you. I keep mine off. I don't really care about that. Mine's just straight Warlog, so I don't really care about that. But if you are a streamer and you don't want people to know that, or stream snipers, then turn it off. Usage sharing. EA does collect all this data, guys, to kind of help with the game. I keep it on, just to add to the feedback of the game, so hopefully they can see it and see kind of what's going on. And what that also includes is just it's updates. It improves their products. Anything that you're dealing with as far as lag, hit recognition in the hitboxes, ping, any of those things. This is going to give them the data back so they can try to improve the servers, etc. So I use it on. Colorblind mode, I keep it off. It just makes it a whole lot easier. I think the default is off. I haven't really messed with these 3 other modes, but if you do have colorblind issues as far as your sight, then adjust those accordingly. I choose off. It's pretty default standard. Enable access chat features if you want to. That's only if you're like doing party chats and stuff like that, or in-game chats. It's fine. Convert incoming voice to text chat. I like this on. It just kind of pops up when like something is called in at the bottom of the screen. So if you don't really hear it, you can see something pop up and you can read it, and then you can be like on track of what's actually happening, because this game gets real crazy. The game is super fast, so it's pretty intense. Controller, button layout I keep the same. Stick layout is also default. And then interaction, I use tap to use and reload. Hold to use, I don't know. These are tough, man, because coming from Blackout, it used to be hold, which I got used to, and then it's tap. So tap is real nice, but the issue is when you go to revive somebody, you're next to stuff where you can tap to access it, like death boxes or pick something up. It's gonna take that, or try to reload your gun, and you have to hold it to revive somebody. So play with that. I still prefer the tap because it's just all about a timing thing. Fast. We need things faster, faster, faster. So I use tap to use and reload. Just makes it easier. And then also, if you come from COD or any other FPS shooter, most of them are just tap to do anything. So if you're used to that, keep it on it. Crouch button, absolutely toggle. You don't need to hold that. If you do hold it, don't do that. Just toggle it. It just makes it a whole lot easier. Aim, definitely hold. Do not toggle. Do not toggle. Always hold that. That just makes it easy. Sensitivities, the default is 3. I play on a 4. Sometimes I do crank it up to a 5, but I find that a 4 is that sweet spot in the middle for me. Now, when it comes to the sensitivity, that's going to be completely dependent on you, man. You got to find what works best for you. This is kind of a little bit different from traditional FPSs. So, and the main reason, which we'll talk about later, is the FOV, so the field of view. But I keep mine on high, which is similar to the same sensitivity I play on Call of Duty. So that's the same. Now, the trick here is that something that like Call of Duty and some of these other games don't do is that you have an overall sensitivity, or like Fortnite, for example. This is my sensitivity to move around, and sensitivity ADS is when you're actually aiming. I kept mine the same, so that way there's no like, I move faster, but then when I go to aim, it's slower. You can just back this all the way down to same, which makes this the same as your actual sensitivity, but I just keep it on 4. Response curve, it determines the stick analog input used to turn your view. Classic is the traditional respawn field, which is traditional FPS. The raw input, linear or high velocity, not really. It depends on how fast you want this, and this coincides with your sensitivity. So mine's low, so classic works out good for me. I can prevent you from drifting. The look dead zone, I keep it at small. You can have it on none or large, but small is pretty good for aim control considering how big the hitboxes are. Movement dead zone, same thing. Keep it on small. Inverted look, turn it off unless you're, I don't know, playing weird, or you're COD, or like playing inverted, or you're just playing claw or something weird. Vibration, definitely turn this off. In any competitive FPS, definitely turn it off. Vibration can shake that controller and kind of mess you up a little bit in high tense situations. Now here's the big thing that we want to talk about. Field of view. The field of view, in my experience, this is the first game that allows you to change it, just like you would on PC. Now, the default field of view, and the reason mine is at 80, is because I believe that the default field of view for Call of Duty is somewhere between roughly 65 to 75. So or really it's more like 70 to 80. So I keep this on 80, which is pretty similar to Blackout or Call of Duty itself. I used to play on 96 or like 100. You can take it all the way up. It's totally up to you. You can take it up to 110. I prefer 80. It just works better. Colorblind mode, turn it off. You don't need it. Audio, this is totally up to you, man. Master volume I keep up. Special effects is a little bit lower. Same thing with dialogue. You want to be able to hear that if other players or stuff call out. Music and lobby music, just turn it down. It's so loud when you're in loading screens. Just turn those down. Subtitles, totally up to you. Sometimes I go back and forth. If I feel like the subtitles are too distracting, I turn them off. Sometimes, you know, if I want to read stuff, like I said, I turn them on. So, convert incoming voice to chat text. That's in your HUD. It's totally up to you, but I keep it on. So yeah, guys, those are my best settings for Apex Legends on Black Ops 4, guys. I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, drop a like. Say something down in the comment section. Let me know what you think or what your preferred settings are for this game. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Make sure to come check out the my live stream over at twitch.tv/warlug. And let me know if you want me to keep pumping out these videos, guys. We drop full gameplays for Apex and Call of Duty Blackout on a weekly basis. So please check those out. And thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. Peace.